Hello there and welcome to the Ajax versus Liverpool preview. Champions League football is back for Liverpool. It's kicking off tonight at 8 o'clock in the evening, and for me, I think a key factor for this game is going to be Liverpool needing to be bold in this game. Obviously, we've had some pretty bad things happen over, the last week. We've still got Alisson out. Obviously, we've lost Virgil van Dijk for a number of months as well, and Thiago is not going to be able to play in this game as well. The latest development was that Joel Matip is also ruled out of this game as well. Maybe not for the weekend, maybe back then, but he's ruled out for this game. It doesn't want to be risked or anything like that. So you're not going to have Joel Matip and you're not going to have Thiago. Now, we collectively as a fan base shouldn't lose it. Definitely not yet. Definitely not this early into the season. Definitely shouldn't be losing it. What we need to be is have a feeling of boldness, and I hope that Jurgen Klopp has that as well. I don't want to see, I want to see a little bit of adventure in the midfield. We basically, in my opinion, I think we know what we're going to get in the defence as well, and we'll get into the starting lineup in just a second as well. But I think the boldest call will be between the sticks. It's going to be the goalkeeper. Who he puts in the Champions League as starting as a goalkeeper. Now, for me, I've called for it, and I want to see Kelleher. I want to see Kelleher play. It's almost a win-win situation, regardless of what happens. A young, gifted player or a young, good goalkeeper gets to have first-team experience in the Champions League. Yes, it's a big step up, but eventually these players have to be given the chance to make the step up, and these chances don't come very often. Obviously, no one wishes for Alisson to be out injured. No one wishes for that. No one wants that whatsoever. But when things like that do happen, and then the number 2 goalkeeper has got question marks all over him, then take that goalkeeper out of the firing line and bring in someone that is a good goalkeeper. He's not the best goalkeeper. He's a young lad. Give him a chance. Let him see what it's like in goal. For me, I say it's win-win because he's a young lad who's getting a chance. If he makes mistakes, he's got the chance and the ability and the time to be able to learn from these mistakes, grow, and make himself a better goalkeeper. I've always said Adrian doesn't have that. He's nearly, I think, he's 33, 34. Adrian is who he is right now. And he will always send shockwaves of anxiety every single time he's on the team sheet. It's just what's going to happen. It really is just what's going to happen. And it is unfortunate that it happens, but it is what it is. For me, I'm putting Kelleher in goal for Liverpool. That's what I'm doing. We're going to go into the rest of the starting 11 in what I think is going to happen anyway. Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson. Then we're going to have Joe Gomez. I instinctively nearly said Virgil van Dijk, just because it's always Virgil van Dijk on the left-hand side of centre-back. It will, in my opinion, it's going to be Joe Gomez, and it will be Fabinho as the centre-back pairing. Fabinho he's a very good centre-back. He really is. He's as good at centre-back, maybe even just a touch a little bit better sometimes at centre-back than he is in the midfield. Now, if I had a choice, I would absolutely be putting him into the midfield. I really would be. That's exactly what I would like to do. But as things are right now and how I'm going with the midfield, I think that Fabinho and Joe Gomez will be the centre-back pairing. And I think that will help Joe Gomez out a lot more as well. There are other options at centre-back as well. The most notable ones, I think, being Nat Phillips and Reece Williams. But I'm not entirely sure whether they'll be thrown into the mixer for this game. So I think it's going to be Fabinho, I think it's going to be Joe Gomez, and then we move on into the midfield, which I think, in my opinion, it will be Gini Wijnaldum, Jordan Henderson as a dead cert, in my opinion. Those two will definitely be in. As long as they're fit, they're definitely going to be in. I say that because Gini Wijnaldum as well was at the press conference and made some excellent and honest forthright opinions and quotes and stuff like that from himself about the Everton game and stuff like that. I felt he spoke really, really well and honest, and he reflected what the fans were also thinking, in my opinion. So he was at the press conference. Normally the player that's at the press conference is going to be in the starting 11. So Gini Wijnaldum's in, Jordan Henderson's in my opinion. And then the third spot in midfield, it's either going to be, you could go James Milner, you could, and I've got no issues with that whatsoever, but I think, if I'm right, that Naby Keita is also available for selection. I think that's right. I think he tested negative for COVID-19 as well recently, after having, the whole Guinea situation where he tested positive or something like that. Anyway, so I would actually put Naby Keita in there. There is another option as well, the other one being Curtis Jones as well. Out of the three options, James Milner, Keita, or Curtis Jones, I'm more inclined to go with Curtis Jones and Naby Keita. I just think they offer you a little bit more mobility, and a little bit more athleticism in midfield as well, and ball carrying ability, and at speed as well. But I think I'd like to see either Naby Keita or Curtis Jones. I actually don't have a preference which way. I'd be excited to see both of them play. If James Milner plays, I don't mind it. I really don't mind it. There'll always be a rhyme and reason why someone gets selected in the team. Now, what I want to see up front though, Sadio Mane, absolutely. What I want to see Mohamed Salah, that's very, very good as well. I want to see either Minamino or Diogo Jota playing as well. Whether that means that Mane moves through the middle and they go onto the left-hand side, or Mane and Salah stay on their respective wings, and Minamino or Jota comes into that middle space. Firmino's not offering enough at the moment, and his work rate is always unquestionable, but when it comes to actually producing in front of goal, or even producing assists and stuff like that as well, creating, it's just not happening. And I think we're going to have to try and be lethal, and I think the way that we do that is have dangerous players up front, ones that can score goals, ones that did well in pre-season as well. Diogo Jota has done well when he went away with Portugal, scored a couple of goals, got a man of the match in his last performance out there, and he's done well. But Minamino had a great pre-season and he's barely featured. And I think that's unfair. I think Minamino should be allowed to have a chance in the Champions League. He was very good for Salzburg in the Champions League as well, very good for Salzburg in general. And I'd like to see him given a chance to play that role, because I think he's such a dangerous player. He'll be hungry to play. He'll be really. If I'm Minamino right now, I'm looking at it like saying I've had a good pre-season. Everything was starting to click. And me as a fan myself, I looked at Minamino like, wow, what a viable option that is to have up front, because he has the work rate of Firmino. He's quicker than Firmino as well, and he's a good danger in front of goal. Let's start using him. Let's start using him. We have to start using him, in my opinion. Otherwise, that player is going to be thinking, why have I moved from Salzburg to Liverpool? All right, yes, it's a bigger club, whatever, but he's going to be wanting game time. Let's give him that game time. Let's give him that chance. And this is also what I mean about being bold. Make these changes that will hopefully give us a little bit of electricity, give us a little bit more of a jump into this game. Because make no mistake, as I look through the potential lineup for Ajax, I don't know a lot of the players. I don't, and that's not being ignorant. I just don't follow. I can't follow every single league with minute details or anything like that. I don't know all the players. I know a couple of players like Neres. I've heard of Klaassen. Obviously, Daley Blind played for Man United. Tagliafico, good left back. Quincy Promes and Dusan Tadic, who I think was at Southampton. But it doesn't really matter, in my opinion, who lines up for Ajax, because they've always had a system of football that is played very, very well. Very good attacking football. They like possession football, passing football, very proactive attacking football. It doesn't really matter who they put on the pitch. They are going to want to come at us and attack. They themselves have said they want to test themselves against who they think is the best in the world, which was us. And that's a huge compliment from Ajax. Ajax is historically one of the greatest footballing teams in history. It really is. It doesn't matter whether they've been competitive in the Champions League of recent years or not. And to be fair, they were. Obviously, when they came up against Tottenham in the semi-final, when we faced Tottenham in the final, that Ajax team was fantastic. It was fantastic. It was beautiful to watch. They've obviously since that time against Tottenham and that season, they've lost a lot of key players. Matthijs de Ligt, I think is his name, went to Juventus. Then obviously you've seen the likes of Ziyech has gone to Chelsea. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of other players as well that have moved on. But even so, these guys are going to present problems. Everybody has presented problems for Liverpool since the start of this season. Pretty much everybody has. Chelsea maybe not so much, but they actually still did present problems anyway. It's not going to be, it's not going to be a walk in the park or anything like that. And Ajax themselves will probably have a lot of confidence after, I think at the weekend they won their game. I don't know who the opposition were, but they won their game 5-1. Now, you beat anybody by a scoreline like that, then yeah, you're going to start, you're going to be breeding a little bit more confidence and a little bit more willingness to attack, commit to attacks, and their free-flowing football is going to be something for us to come up against, because our free-flowing football, when it clicks into gear, is very difficult to stop. However, we're gonna get a couple of tests ourselves. We're gonna see how Joe Gomez reacts to having a different centre back partner. We're gonna see how either Fabinho or someone else, how they handle being in that starting centre back role that obviously is vacated now by Van Dijk. We're gonna see what happens in the midfield. How do we set up that midfield? How do we set up the team in general? Is it gonna be a standard 4-3-3, or are we gonna change it ever so slightly? We're going to have to see what happens with the goalkeeping situation, whether he sticks, or and he goes with Adrian, or he twists and he goes with Kelleher. I'd much rather he twisted and goes with Kelleher and shows a bit more boldness in that decision. But hey, we will see what happens on the night. Me being me, I truly believe that we can go and win this game. I really do. Do I believe that we can keep a clean sheet? No, I don't. I think that, whether people say I'm paying a bit too much respect for Ajax and or whatever, I just look at who we could have in goal. If it's Adrian in goal, I don't think it's going to be a clean sheet. If it's Kelleher, I don't know what we're getting. I really don't. I've seen him in pre-season a couple of times, and he looks decent. He looks decent. That's why I want to see him get a chance. But I know what I'm getting with Adrian. And if it is Adrian in goal, then yeah, we're probably going to concede at least one. That's almost pretty much a dead cert, in my opinion. But I think that Liverpool can go out and win this game, and I am going to be a little bit bold myself. After talking about boldness during this video, I'm going to turn around and say that we win 3-1 tonight, and I think it's going to be a good game to watch. It really is. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Who do you think is going to be starting in goal, centre-back, everything? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and what do you think the result is going to be. Can Liverpool kick off their Champions League campaign with a bang? I absolutely hope so. Anyway, take care of yourselves. Hope that you guys are all doing very, very well, whatever you're doing today before the match. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do like it and subscribe if you're new around here. But for now, I will catch you guys later. I'll see you then.